Larry Summers, who worked for Bill Clinton, was also pen pals with Epstein. He was asking him for tips on women. Who goes to Jeffrey Epstein for dating advice?
Man, and it's like almost crazy that we have video of Donald Trump actively talking to Jeffrey Epstein about women. Like, it's almost like you could play that on your show right after that, Jesse, and be like, oh, look, I mean, if we're talking about involvement and why you'd be speaking to Jeffrey Epstein ever, knowing what he's involved in, how about you play the videos and pictures that Donald Trump has sitting around Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and partying it the up with these people in Palm Beach, huh? Why don't you show those videos on there? That may not go along with your narrative. That might blow up the whole narrative there, would it? Yeah, this is Donald Trump posting the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Still trying to get everybody to go along with that tagline there. And this is Jesse Waters, who does absolutely no favors whatsoever for Donald Trump in this situation. But all right, Jesse Waters, hit that like button, guys, please. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. This mess is just unbelievable. Just think of what's going on around the world, and we're talking about blowjobs with past presidents and trying to figure out if Bubba was a horse or if Bubba was a former president. That's what we're doing. While people are, again, going hungry, they have no homes. I mean, it's just every economic status that you could probably fucking point to right now is on the decline. Not to mention, again, the tariffs on our trade partners. Not to mention the ongoing threats of active war posed by this regime against several different countries. Again, on top of that, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about Donald Trump's emails, his involvement in the Epstein files, and whether or not he actually blew former President Bill Clinton. That's what we're talking about. All right. Here we go. All right. Hit that like. Let's fucking go.
Democrats want you to forget all about the shutdown shellacking. So they're launching a smear campaign disguised as a bombshell. The Jeffrey Epstein emails. Congress is dumping thousands of documents, and Democrats are using them to.
Well, wasn't it I believe it was the oversight committee that had released a few, but then it was the GOP that said, well, we're just going to flood the zone. We're just going to flood the airwaves with about 22,000, give or take a few thousand on that one. But, you might want to get the timeline and the facts right at least, if you're going to go on here and try to defend both a pedophile and the current president for being engaged and affiliated in a long-lasting, long-term relationship with both of the ringleaders in this case, both Ghislaine Maxwell, who we've seen receive ridiculously favorable treatment when, again, it shouldn't have been done in the first place, when, again, the first facility that she was at was technically too cushy for her, depending on, going up by what she was convicted of, right? And then being sent, having that waiver signed and being sent to an even cushier position, an even cushier spot, handed a puppy, given special access and, after hours fucking privileges. And you wonder why even the guards at this place, at this facility, are even getting pissed off at how well she's having to be treated. And nobody can comment as to what Donald Trump's intentions are, or if he's not thinking or willing to give her a pardon. I mean, we have to put all of this together as we listen to Jesse Waters climb out of the anus of Donald Trump right now.
Frame Trump. But we've been combing through them and can't find anything nailing Trump.
Nothing. Not a goddamn thing that Fox News has deemed necessary or worthy to bring up in conversation that relates, again, to Donald Trump, the current president of the United States, and the asshole that they love to sniff, and the pedophile ring and the cover-up of that pedophile ring now actively ongoing by this fucking government. I mean, just nothing in there. Not the lines about him knowing about all the girls and what's been going on. Again, not the line about him spending ample amount of time with Virginia Giuffre at Epstein's place. Not the flight logs. Not the pictures of him partying, not the fact that he himself was brought up that he was told that Jeffrey Epstein was poaching underage girls from the fucking spa at Mar-a-Lago. More than once, had to be told twice, at least on 2 different occasions. And then that the membership of Jeffrey Epstein was just, mysteriously active at Mar-a-Lago till 2007. I mean, Jesus, it's crazy that Fox News just hasn't deemed any of this necessary for them to report on, and again are doing the opposite, saying that nothing was in there. There was nothing.
Even Axios says the emails contained no real smoking gun.
No, but very, very large amounts of circumstantial evidence, right? Very large amount of evidence that would absolutely put somebody in the bad spotlight. I mean, I said it the other day on the show, if you know, the FBI or the CIA or the DOJ just happen to get a hold of some fucking text messages or recordings of calls from, I don't know, the Irish mafia or the IRA, the drug cartels down in Mexico, and my name was brought up, but your name was brought up several different times in 1,000 different emails, chances are they'd probably do some fucking digging into you. They'd probably be like, maybe we should figure out who this Boston Brian character is being named by the two most horrendous people on the face of the planet that we know right now. Like, wouldn't that be something that would lead you to be, especially if that guy's now the president of the United States, actively engaged in the fucking cover-up and conspiracy? Like, I don't know, but that's just probably a normal way of thinking and not what Fox News is here for. They're here to pay billions of dollars, regardless, at any point, to make sure that Donald Trump and the Republican Party stay in power so that they can grift and steal and cheat off the backs of the American people. And obviously, anybody that wants to come here seeking a better life.
The files do show Epstein's deep ties to liberals.
But wait a minute, but not Epstein's deep ties to Trump. It shows their just unreal, these fucking people. I just don't understand. Like, I almost feel like, you know, that like tactic of I think it was in like Ocean's 11 where they're trying to pass the lie detector test and the guy has the tack in his shoe and like he just kind of puts his foot down on the tack every time he has to lie. So it kind of like does something. I don't know what the fuck it does, but it does something to the machine. Like, that's what I feel like Jesse Waters must do. Like, I feel like somebody's just like slapping him in the nuts under the desk every time he has to say stupid shit like this. So that, like, you know, it like keeps him on his toes. So he, like, you know, it keeps him looking fucking alive and he doesn't just melt in front of the cameras. Like, there must be, I don't know, like somebody with a spiked bat just sitting there hitting him repeatedly in the nuts every single time he has to make a fucking degenerate statement and go on his show to defend people like Donald Trump for their involvement with people like Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, especially knowing what he knows. You know what I mean? But again, that's just my theory.
Like anti-Trump author Michael Wolff.
Yep, scumbaggy. All of them. And the other New York Times reporter, scumbags, every single one of them. Absolutely. But that does not, take Donald Trump out of the picture. That does not free him of any guilt. You see what's going on here? This is the whataboutism a portion of the Fox News broadcast. This is how you whataboutism your fans. Well, yeah, they're saying that Donald Trump did this, but what about these people over here? Like, okay, can we go back to the original story of the guy that's, you know, right now sitting in the Oval Office? Can we go, yeah, but what about the people over there? No, I want to, like, shut the fuck up, Jesse.
He colluded with Epstein on how to blackmail Trump. Wolff told Epstein in 2015, if you should let him hang himself. If he said,
that's not blackmail. That's more saying the guy's a moron and we should let him dig his own grave, right? That's basically saying let Trump dig his own grave. That's basically not. That's telling Jeffrey Epstein not to do a damn thing, right there. Like, he's trying to make it seem like this right here proves that there was some like ongoing conspiracy to make Donald Trump look worse. But this is just him, Michael Wolff, being a scumbag, but instructing another scumbag to let Donald Trump, again, give him the rope to hang himself with, you know, give him the shovel to dig his own grave because he will put himself there. You don't have to do a damn thing. Right. That's why he says that will give you valuable PR and political currency. Just let him do his thing. So it's the opposite, basically, of what Jesse Waters is trying to get this across as. Right. So, again, try not to be fooled by this bullshit. Even though all of these scumbags involved are absolute scumbags, that's not what's going on. Read that. I think you should let him hang himself. It's clearly stated right there in the comment. Basically, don't do a damn thing. Let him go out there. And again, we'll give him just enough rope to let him hang himself with. Again, strange choice of words considering what ended up happening in the future. But, you know, what are you going to do about that? But again, just to call out Jesse Waters' bullshit and the examples that they're trying to use to try to, again, whataboutism, obfuscate, look the other way, point the other direction so that you're not talking about Donald Trump.
Because he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. Why is Wolff giving a pedophile PR advice? and coaching him to take.
Again, that question I fucking can get down with. That question, Jesse, I agree with. What the fuck is this guy doing giving PR advice? But again, that doesn't, what you said before, prove like this ongoing conspiracy to either involve Donald Trump where he's not involved or take him down because of his power level. That's, again, what you tried to bring that clip up as, not so much the PR aspect of it.
Take down the president. That wasn't the only writer Epstein colluded with. A New York Times reporter gave Epstein a heads up that a former cop was investigating him for a book.
Yep, and like we said on this show, probably before this came out, that guy also a scumbag, along with all the other scumbags involved in this case.
That reporter was pushed out of the company after they found he asked Epstein for a $30,000 donation.
Right, scumbag, like we said.
Larry Summers, who worked for Bill Clinton and Obama.
So, but do you see what's going on here? This is, okay, how many other people can we name? Right? This is, how many other people can we name right now? And I think Donald Trump did this too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he also put out a recent post. Did I miss that post somewhere? Because I thought he put out a post with, let me see if I can, or was it before that, where he put out the names of, like, you know, Larry Summers and these other idiots. And he talked about the head of Harvard. I'm looking here in the background to see if I can spot it real quick. Jesse might even bring it up on the show if I'm not mistaken. But Donald Trump also, you know, has a post along these same lines of like, all right, I'm just going to say as many names as I could possibly get out there in a single post so that people have other, you know, areas to look at, that they start looking in other directions as opposed to me. But it's not looking, because it's not like, okay, how do you know all this shit? Okay. How do you know about these people's involvement? How do you know that we should be, you know, looking into these people? Sorry, my shirt's all screwed up. Look, I just got in a fight. How do you know what is your, how are you getting this information? Like, can you, again, it's just putting him in a more difficult situation, you know, as he goes on, and he's trying to do the complete opposite, which is hilarious, because this is pure and total propaganda from Fox News trying to obfuscate. And again, the worst instance they could possibly choose to obfuscate and do whataboutisms. Again, in the Jeffrey Epstein case about child sex trafficking and child pedophilia, and high-profile clientele in some of the most high-profile positions in the fucking on the planet, and you got Fox News doing propaganda work for these people.
Was also pen pals with Epstein. He was asking him for tips on women. Who goes to Jeffrey Epstein for dating advice?
Man, and it's like almost crazy that like we have video of Donald Trump actively talking to Jeffrey Epstein about women. Like, it's almost like you could play that on your show right after that, Jesse, and be like, oh, look, I mean, if we're talking about involvement and why you'd be speaking to Jeffrey Epstein ever, knowing what he's involved in, how about you play the fucking breadth of videos and pictures that Donald Trump has sitting around Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and partying it the fuck up with these people in Palm Beach? Huh? Why don't you show those videos on there? That may not go along with your narrative. That might blow up the whole narrative there, would it?
Epstein didn't just have ties to the Democrats and the media. He had foreign connections. Before Trump met Putin in 2018, Epstein was pitching himself to the Kremlin, saying he could give Russia insight on Trump.
Now, imagine being Fox News and thinking that this angle, that the angle they're taking right now, that Jeffrey Epstein was somehow involved with talks with Vladimir Putin to get dirty shit that Donald Trump wouldn't like, shit that he wouldn't want released to the public, to Vladimir Putin to then manhandle so they had power over Donald Trump. Right? The same thing that they have been calling this like incredible fucking leftist, progressive, Democrat fucking hoax conspiracy theory that we've been talking about. Like, it seems like Vladimir Putin might have something on this asshole that this asshole might not want the public to see, which is why he's given them so much time, why he's afforded them so many different deadlines, why he's so buddy-buddy, why he's more than willing to take the word of Vladimir Putin and their intelligence agencies over the United States intelligence agencies like he did in Helsinki not long after this, right? And Fox News actually believes in this moment in time that they're like doing Donald Trump a favor. Like, they're making it look like it's just Epstein and not Trump. Like, this couldn't be bad for Trump.
Which is weird, because if the Kremlin was controlling Trump like the Democrats accused him, why did they need insight?
To better control the president of... Does this motherfucker not know how compromat works? Does he not know what like how the whole blackmail thing works? Like, does he not realize, like, the reason Jeffrey Epstein may have had these hidden recording devices and cameras all throughout his premises on all of his properties? Like, does there, you just, because it makes it more easy, gives you a little bit more leverage over a human being. Again, when you have something physical in your hands to show them and be like, hey, I'm going to send this right to fucking Fox News if you don't do A, B, C, D, and E. So again, as to why Vladimir Putin I don't think he would need it necessarily, considering he could walk circles around Donald Trump in a heartbeat on the foreign stage. But definitely is something that Vladimir Putin and Russia are actively seeking out to enhance their position at the negotiating table, to give them more leverage so that they can hold more cards in their hands than the other players do at their table, affording them to put together a better fucking hand. Right? They can keep that in their back pocket. If they ever have to use it, they can. Maybe they don't ever have to use it. But to suggest or ask on the most widely watched news network in the country, like, why would Putin from Russia want compromise on the United States president? Doesn't make any sense. Is hilarious. Is adorable. It really is adorable.
He wasn't just any old rich American. He was well connected to top players all over the world, from Israel to Saudi Arabia.
And again, the fact that they're willing to bring this part of it up to this, knowing the pro-Israel stance that Fox News has taken, Rupert Murdoch has taken, the fact that they're willing to, put this in there just tells you how desperate they are to get you to look at any other piece of the pie. Just any other piece of the puzzle that you can focus on. Please focus on that. We'll even give you this that makes Israel look bad, that makes Mossad look bad, that makes, Benjamin Netanyahu and the government of Israel look bad. Like, that's again, you have to put this in the bigger picture and realize who's talking about this, what channel they're talking about it on, and how willing or unwilling they were before to, again, mention stuff like this. But just, now that all these emails have come out and the speculation has started and the fuel has been added to the flames, now they're like, okay, let's give these people, this is the chum in the waters for their MAGA base, again, to get them to look left when Donald Trump is sitting there with the fucking, the bloody knife on the right-hand side. You know what I'm saying? It
wasn't a secret. Epstein went to Clinton's White House 17 times.
Excuse me, Bubba, get it right. Get his name right. I don't think Jeffrey, his brother, or Donald would like it if you call me misnaming him. Don't be misnaming him.
Times. And Slick Willie was
again, and for the sake of journalistic integrity, it was said by Jeffrey Epstein's brother that it wasn't Bubba, but again, take that with a grain of salt because they're all scumbags, they're all schmucks, and they're all liars involved. So again, I don't believe a damn word, and I'm going with it until proven otherwise. So you can tell me it was Ghislaine Maxwell's horse, and then I'll run with that too.
Frequent flyer on the so-called Lolita Express.
And who else was on those flight logs? You see how stupid they are? You see how fucking stupid these people are to bring up Clinton flew on the planes. Like, okay, let's see here. Was there another guy that I could think of that was, plainly listed on those flight logs several times? Oh yeah, Donald Trump. So is that the next segment where you talk about his involvement in these flight logs? Like, again, the picking and choosing of facts here just makes them look so much worse. It just makes them look so much more incompetent. It's going to come back to bite them so much harder in the asshole when this breaks, when this actually comes down to brass tacks, or when we actually get, deeper into fucking midterms and people are sick and tired of being lied to when they can see what's going on in front of their fucking faces, right? By assholes like this, schmucks, sleazy schmucks like this asshole.
Like pals. But when it comes to Trump, Jeffrey had TDS. I have met
Jeffrey. And again, they're playing this on Fox News, ladies and gentlemen. They're playing on Fox News with the worst possible person on the face of the earth, also engaged with the other worst person, being Ghislaine Maxwell, on the face of the earth, talking to family members who definitely knew what was going on, making them the worst people on the face of the earth, talking about Donald Trump as if he is out of this world terrible. Like if he is just above and beyond everybody else in this game, everybody else in this situation, not a decent person, right? So it says, I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body. And they're going to play this like this is a good thing. They're going to try to play this and spin this as if it's a good thing for Donald Trump that Jeffrey Epstein thinks even he is a scumbag. Even he doesn't have a decent cell in his body, right? So when like it's like that whole game recognizes game, Donald Trump would probably bring this up as like, this is one monstrous fucking piece of shit recognizing the monstrous piece of shit nature in another human being. And this is Fox News bringing this up, trying to make it seem like it goes on Donald Trump's behalf. I shit you not.
Some very bad people, none as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body. Trump should wear that like a badge of honor.
Now, how deluded, how fucking deluded do you have to be like, you know what? Donald Trump should definitely wear that as a badge of honor. That pedophile, that fucking egregious, monstrous piece of shit seen on screen, hugging and kissing the other egregious, monstrous piece of shit who has already been convicted, and sent to a cushy prison by this administration. That person is now calling the president and the guy that you love, Jesse, even more of a scumbag. Is even less decent than these people. And somehow Donald Trump's going to wear that as a badge of honor. I wouldn't put it past him that he would, but I'm not sure the American people would see it the way that you're trying to portray it, is what I'm saying.
Slimiest guy in the world. Hating you is a good thing. Epstein even admitted Trump, quote, never got a massage.
Yeah, but again, multiple different ways in which you can engage in sexual activities with a minor that doesn't involve a massage. So again, does not, expunge Donald Trump from any of these, allegations or crimes. Again, we haven't ruled out the fact that it could be purely financial, where he either profited or in somehow, used loans or, used money exchanges with underage girls that he had working. Maybe he was just, again, the supplier of the underage girls themselves. We don't know. That's why we need the Epstein files released, so that we could know. And again, as everybody says, if you were a completely honest and innocent man, those files would have been on the doorstep of every major news network fucking 7 months, 8 months ago. Maybe before. You know what I mean? And that's just not happened. So the fact that he says he never got a massage, again, unless that went on to say he never got anything, like he never did anything wrong, like, which doesn't clearly is not shown on this one. There's multiple different ways in which he could have engaged in criminalities in this fucking situation that didn't involve a massage. So again, the fact that Fox News is putting this on there, like, this is the Alan Dershowitz, I kept my underwear on defense right here. Fox News is now playing that for Donald Trump. He never got a massage, though. Like, I know you've seen the pictures of the underage girls with him on the plane, and he's on the flight logs, and, the pictures of him partying with Epstein and all the, the times that he told Epstein a great guy and told him how he liked him young and beautiful and all that. I'll put all that aside. He never got a massage, though. Like, yeah, okay, well, what did he get then? Why is he not releasing the files? Because if he didn't get a massage, he damn sure got fucking something. I can tell you that much.
The same author Epstein colluded with even said this.
Epstein believed that it was Trump who first informed the police.
Now, again, the same guy that Jesse Waters just called out on this specific segment as being completely untrustworthy and is doing PR spin for Jeffrey Epstein, he's now using that same person's words, kind of like, who brings this up? Hal brings this up all the time in a pretty good manner, where it's like people like Tim Pool, people like Patrick Bet-David, people like Benny Johnson are so willing and all the time calling out the mainstream media, calling out CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington, whatever it may be. But then also when you pull up their show, when you pull up their channel, guess what the fuck they're using as the first line of fucking defense in their, in their stupid arguments is a New York Times article or a CNN clip or, this, network that they don't like, or they're talking about what MSNBC said, right? So this is no different. So this is, again, we're going to do the Alan Dershowitz. I was there, but I kept my underwear on with the, Trump didn't get a massage theory. And now don't, totally forget about the guy that I told you was untrustworthy and is a scumbag for doing PR for a pedophile. And now we're going to listen to his words, and that's going to get Donald Trump off the hook. Like, what? Hello? So again, before we waste too much time on Jesse, I think you kind of get the flow and the picture on that one.